My name is David Gum. My process speech is going to be how to properly cape out an animal for taxidermy to be mounted for a shoulder mount. This here is a whitetail deer shoulder mount form. It's my first buck I shot about 20 years ago, finally getting around to mounting it. So this is how you mount an antlered animal, how to cape out the rack to be mounted for a shoulder mount. First thing you want to do is, this is the front legs. You want to make your cut around the animal about 12 inches behind the front legs. So make a circle with your knife all the way around the animal, about 12 inches behind the front legs. You're going to have the legs down here. That's going to give you enough cape to properly have a shoulder mount mounted. Once you make your cut all the way around, there's two ways you can do it. The easiest way to do it is to make your cut after you round all the way around the animal straight up the back of the animal. Make sure you're not having your cut go way off the sides, straight down the middle, stopping about 6 inches or so behind the antlers. You're then going to do what's called a Y cut to the back of each antler. So go straight to the back, the very back into here, on both sides. Also making sure you're not going around the side, coming up into here somewhere for your cut. It's just going to be straight back to each antler. That's going to give you a V flap. You're going to flap over when you skin it. So straight to the back here and here. Slowly cut up with your knife. I use the scalpel blade. Peel it over. Then you're going to take your knife slowly around the antler burr. And with your knife touching the antler here, go all the way around the side, peeling that V flap over until you get to the eyes. Next thing you're going to do is take the skin, cut off the ear butt where it touches the skull. You're going to have a little hole here. That's where the ear touches the skull. That's where your knife needs to be at, keeping all that ear butt. Do that for both sides. And peel forward. At that point, you can stop. The way I prefer to do it is to avoid this long cut, which I have to sew up later. So don't make anything up into here. You're going to have no cut here in the back at all. So my scanning is going to be this, about 6 inches behind the antlers. I'm still going to make that Y cut to the back of each antler. But this is the only cut I'm going to have. There's going to be nothing back into here at all. What that does is later on down the road, I don't have to sew up all this hide that I've already cut. There's no risk of having hair patterns cut or any hair loss. This is more difficult to cut it this way, and it saves time later on down the road. Once you cut to the back of each antler here, we want to saw off the antlers inside the skull. So about right back in here, about 3 or 4 inches behind the antlers, the back of the skull, saw it off there. And same thing in the front, right before the eyes right here. That's going to have a V cut in your skull, just like that. Later on, I'll go ahead and put the saw and straighten it out and make it just like you see it right here. After that, you just pull your antlers out, clean them up. In the field, the most expedient way is to make this long cut. If you're not experienced in making the short cut, I would practice first doing the long way. That's the way I explain to all my customers how to do it. The main thing is keeping enough cape back into here when you cut around so you don't have any issues later on when I go to mount it. So I need enough so it wraps around, it's long enough. What all you guys do is this is called the brisket. They'll cut it short. I'll have a big old piece of hair missing here. Then I can't mount the mount. Or they'll go to when they gut it, they'll split all the way up into here when they gut it. And then I can sew it up, but I prefer to have a new cape or have no cuts in here at all. So that's why I give classes like this on how to skin. So go around the outside of the animal, about 8-12 inches behind it. No cuts up into here. And that'll leave you enough cape to have your shoulder mount. That's how you properly cape out an antlered animal to be mounted.